Bueno, el día de hoy les traigo un video súper rápido de los 8 gastos hormiga que no nos ayudan a incrementar nuestros savings o nuestros ahorros. Y el día de hoy les traigo una presentación que me compartieron en una plática y que me gustó y que la verdad me parece muy interesante, y comenzamos. Oh, really quick, the presentation is in English, so let's talk a little bit in English just to practice for you and I, you know, like all the pronunciation, all these kind of things, like sometimes it's a little bit complicated, but let's start. The first one is the coffee, no? Sometimes we bought like coffee in Starbucks. Here in USA, the cheapest one is around $3, so maybe in Mexican pesos it's gonna be 80 or 70, you know, the regular ones, like we call American coffee. But here in USA, this is like a super common, like all the people in the morning, they want to buy a coffee just to start the day. So my recommendation is make your coffee at home or bring a travel mug to your work, you know, because sometimes the majority of the office, they have coffee, so you can save a little bit money. If you count every single coffee per day times 30 days, you will see, I want to say, like a 50 or 60 or $70 in your pocket at the end of the month. The second ones are the snacks. Snacks can be expensive, you know, if you buy them in a vending machine. Vending machines is like, you know, you insert coins or bills, or now it's you can pay through your credit card and you receive the snacks. The snacks in that vending machines, the cost is about 100% more expensive than the supermarket. So if you want to have snacks or almonds, something like that, you can buy in the Walmart, in the supermarket. That's the cheapest way to buy it. The third one is transportation expenses. Oh my god, that one, sometimes we have the app transportation, or we don't know, like you know, the toll tax that we have, or another thing is like the traffic sometimes that we have. My recommendation is using public transportation. Is the public transportation is good or not, you know, depends on this is safe or not. Or we have carpooling, biking, walking, instead of using taxis or paying tolls. Tolls is like when you need to pay, like in Mexico, is like when you necesitas pagar por la caseta, or you know, this is something like extra money that we can save. Sometimes it depends on the quality of the city, but usually, you know, I prefer walking distance. You know, biking, it's super common, especially in Europe. As I said, you know, in the previous slides, taxi is the more expensive, you know, through the apps or Uber, Lyft. So sometimes you really want to use it because you don't have any kind of option. That's fine, but you can select like a ride sharing. It is probably the cheapest one option that you can find. The tolls I mentioned is you try to avoid all this kind of tolls because they say like it's super fast. Sometimes it's super fast, but if you have an accident, forget it about it, because it's crowded and it's packed and you need to pay. Even though you know, it's crowded, you need to pay for every single meter that you, or kilometers that you are on the road. You need to pay for that one. So my recommendation is like verify the traffic lights, or probably if you need to be like at 9 a.m. you need to leave early, or select a different route just in case something happens. Bank fees, believe it or not, sometimes, you know, all the extra bank fees, for instance, when we are in the, I would like to say that one, we are in the party and we need to have cash, and suddenly we have like a BBVA card, but I'm using like a Scotiabank ATM, so I need to pay you know, the bank fees for that transaction, because that's a totally different bank. To be honest, I prefer to, you know, when you use your ATM machine of your bank, you don't need to pay anything. But just in case you need extra money for that one and you don't have like an ATM really close to you of your bank, you need to pay the bank fee. So to me, my recommendation is avoid that transaction, because nowadays it's super easy, you know, with the Venmo or PayPal, you can transfer money, and that one you are save this kind of bank fees, and at the end of the month it's gonna be a huge amount believe it or not, sometimes we say like, oh, it's only 10 or 50 pesos or Mexican pesos or $2 or $3, but at the end of the day, if you are saving this kind of money, you're gonna have at the end of the month like a money to buy something different, not to pay the money to the bank. Ooh, subscription services, that's Netflix, Amazon, Amazon Prime, what else, Hulu, Disney Plus, all this kind of thing that sometimes really we only use or watch that subscription for only 1 or 2 months. Now Apple has Apple TV, the Apple Fitness Center, something like that, when you are able to, they train you, you want to have muscles, or they have your special routine, like a cardio routine, everything. So if you use it, that's fine, but sometimes, they pay the annual subscription and after 3 months they don't use it. So literally this is the most common example to waste your money, and that one, it's incredible, because when you realize all the subscription that you pay and you don't use it, it's crazy. So my recommendation is literally, if you want to have one subscription, use it as much as you can, enjoy it as much as you can, because if you don't use it one single day, is because that day represents you are losing money. And the conclusion is like, identify your expenses, your tiny common expenses, and the illustration says, or the picture says, you see, every coin counts. So every single penny, every single peso, quarter, or any kind of dollar counts. At the end of the day, you will see, the amount. The problem now is like, we are paperless, so sometimes we don't use a lot of cash on hand, so you don't realize that you're spending a lot of money, and sometimes you have like a hidden fees. So for instance, any kind of transaction through the internet, they charge you like the transaction fees. So you are buying like tickets for a concert or any kind of game, now they charge you like a 10% of the ticket as a transaction fee. So that's the reason sometimes you really need to identify what kind of, I will say, sport or event you want to go, in order to avoid this kind of extra fees, because nowadays to go an event is a little bit crazy and expensive. So this is everything for me. Thank you so much. El Contra, su fan, su brother, and everything, and your expert in all these kind of things. Welcome back, and se despide su amigo El Contra. Goodbye.